Hello everyone, welcome to Tasty in Situ. Today we make quail. The quail is a small bird, it's a ground nesting bird, and it could be made into a delicacy. I'm going to be using some dry spices to make the quail. Don't worry, I'll give you a rundown of each of them. I'm also going to add some Oikos yogurt, some lemon, Tostitos, yes, Tostitos, let's find out, and some oil to it. Now I ordered this, and when I saw this packet at first I thought everything came prepared and I was a little worried, but when I opened it I saw it was raw and I became excited about it because I knew I was going to spice it real good and make the most out of it. The quail bird comes in this packet. It was already frozen, and here I am cutting the packet open, and inside you're going to see 4 little quail birds. I almost felt guilty eating these quail birds because birds are so cute, so tiny, but what I'm doing is washing it up and then I'm going to cut it into manageable pieces. I'm using my trusty scissors to just cut in the middle, and then I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces so that each part of it will be properly cooked and all the sauce gets to every corner of the quail. The quail is a very busy bird, lives in the forest and just runs around. I read a little about it and I found out that this bird can run 15 miles per hour. That's a fast runner, so you can see how busy it is, and that's why it's a very lean protein, lean meat. This is the first pack we just finished cleaning, and I'm going to go ahead to finish the rest, rinse it out and then dab it. I'm going to use a paper towel to just dab off all the water because I'm going to put this in some oil and I don't want any of the water popping. And so here you have your quail nicely washed and clean, and I'm just doing a quick wash up here of the sink, the scissors and everything else. Now to a clean bowl we add the quail, 3 pounds in all, nicely washed quail, all cleaned out. Next we're going to add the dry spices. This is 3 tablespoons of onion powder. We're also going to go in with 3 tablespoons of paprika. Paprika will add some color to it. I'm also adding 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Another dry spice goes in, and this is 3/4 teaspoon stock powder. I'm also using 3 tablespoons of dry pepper. And the next ingredient I'm going to add will be a wet one, and that is the yogurt. This is plain yogurt. It's the one that is just not tasty, but it adds a lot of moisture to the meat. I'm going to be using 2 whole cups of the Oikos plain yogurt, and I'm going to have to add half a lemon juice squeezed in. And after all these spices have gone in, I'm going to add one last ingredient for now, and that is the canola oil, a very good splash of it. And with my gloves I'm going to give this a good massage, real nice mix up. The yogurt here is going to add some moisture to this meat because the bird is a very lean one. It has a tendency of drying out completely when it is being fried, and so to reduce that dryness you put the yogurt in there with all the spices and you give it a very good mix. To the bowl we use the cling film, cover it up, and then everything goes into the refrigerator. You could do this overnight. You could keep it in the refrigerator overnight. I kept it in there for 4 hours. After 4 hours, the meat is ready to go. And so we heat up our pan, put some oil in it, and then we begin to fry. Now we're going to be very conscious about the amount of heat that we use to fry this bird. We need to turn down the heat when it starts getting too hot and turn it up when we need to keep it going. And so here is our bird, very well sauced with all the dry spices, paprika, salt, pepper, powdered onion, yogurt, and we begin to drop them very gently into the oil. There's just a little oil in the pan, so over the course of frying this bird, you're going to see the pan brown a little bit because we have so many ingredients going on there and there's a lot of caramelization going on. You shouldn't be worried about that. Just be conscious that if the heat is too much, you just turn the heat down and you keep going. So here we are with our first batch. You leave some room, not too much crowding, so that everything gets enough space to get cooked. Remember, this bird is not cooked, it is raw. And so for part of this cooking, I'd like to cover this pan so that the meat gets cooked. The end part of it will be the frying, and at that point I would open the pan and allow it to fry. And so for now we cover. If you like the content of this video, if you enjoy what you see, stay notified by subscribing and hitting the bell, share, like, make a comment. We love it when you are here. To all my subscribers who are so faithful, always coming back to watch, thank you so much. I have really enjoyed having you here. Your time is precious to me, precious to us. Thank you so much for joining us today. Back to the chicken, we have the quail cooking in some oil. At this point, it is cooking more or less than frying, and this is exactly what we want. And then after a few minutes of cooking, we turn and then we cover again to ensure that the other side is cooking. After that, we now leave the pan open for all that oil, the cooking water, to evaporate, and then it begins to fry. So let's do that again. We're going to cover a second time, and by the time we open, we don't cover anymore, we just leave it to fry. I'm sure you can see some browning going on down there. Don't be alarmed. We're going to use that flavor down there. That is flavor packed right down there. We're going to use that flavor at the finish. At this point, while making the dish, it was so hard to resist tasting. I spent quite a lot of time eating some of it. Ate quite a lot of it in the process, but it was so tasty. And so we take the first batch out, and then we go in. Don't worry about the pan. We go in with the second batch. You could see that I splashed a little bit of oil in there, and then we continue the same process. We're going to cover, allow it to cook, turn it the other way, cover again, allow it to cook, and then we finish off with the fry. I'm going to speed this up because we're essentially repeating the same process. And here we have the last bit of the chicken. The last batch has been fried. I'm going to put some canola oil, and guess what we're going to put last? Yes, Tostitos. Tostitos has some sweetness, some sour, has vegetables already mixed in there. So everything you need in a sauce is in there already. Now we're going to scrape some of that goodness down there at the bottom of the pot. Some people wash this stuff off. I don't think it's a good idea to do that. It is so packed with flavor. Well, you could do it however you want, but try this one and then let me know what you think. The Tostitos go in. We leave it to cook for 2 to 3 minutes, And guess who is coming back to the party? Yes, the quail, the fried quail. Everything goes back into the pot and we mix it in. So now we have added moisture to this meat in two ways. First, we use the yogurt, marinated it in the yogurt, and now we're using the Tostitos to add some more moisture to it. It makes it very delicious. It takes away most of the dryness. Like, this is just not dry at all. It tastes very good. And so we are done. Our quail is ready and finished, and we're just onto the dressing. I got some kale that I'm going to use as a bed, and then I pile this quail on it. You know, you could use this for Thanksgiving. It looks so festive, if I might say. And I'm just dressing it up a little bit with some cherry tomatoes. And we're done, guys. Here it is. Who would have thought about quail and Tostitos? But they did go very well together. So tasty. I added the other half of the lemon wedge to it if you would want to squeeze some more lemon onto it. It's tasty as it is without the Tostitos. It's just a delicious meal. Enjoy!